was, as I always tell my students, there's some objections that the films begin with words and end with words. A lot of them that come to me want to be a writer-director. And then the first thing I ask them is, what have you written? Anything. A letter to the editor, or whatever. But they say, well, no, I really... But they have to have that aspiration. What's the old saying? A man's reach should exceed his grasp, or what's a heaven for, or something like that. But you got to deal with the word, finally with the word. My major started out in journalism and journalistic photography, and then I got into education, and I wanted to become a history teacher because I love history. And then Edgar Dale, excuse me, who was, he wrote the key book in audiovisual education. And I began to see that my master's thesis was making history graphic. And I was talking about using films and time charts and that kind of thing. And that's how I got my master's degree. So with the master's then, I did do a little teaching, but World War II came along, and then I went more or less professionally into film. And my boss was up in New York, was Sam Spivak, and he was the playwright of like Kiss Me Kate and quite a number of things. Then I got shifted to that South American assignment, and that's where I did a lot of my work, including doing some work with the Merchant Marine. They wanted if I was going to roam around there with a two-man outfit. I was a writer, director, assistant cameraman, and my senior was a guy by the name of Carl Pryor, who was an old March of Time cameraman. So the two of us were roving OWI filmmakers. So we worked with the Medical Corps, we worked with the, as I said, with the Merchant Marine in the Pacific and the Caribbean. Did anything they wanted us to do. And Carl was a real old timer, told really old stories about filmmaking, and I learned a lot from him. And he was a pretty good drinker too, and taught me that. And I remember many times in the morning we'd get up, and there'd be our local crew waiting for us down there. And he would look out, it'd be a nice day, but he had a bad night. And he would say, Wagner, it looks like it's going to cloud up and you know what. And he said, I'm going down to the bar. He said, if you want to go out today, you take the camera and do what you think you can do with it. That time we were shooting 35 millimeters with Mitchells. And so I got an awful lot of camera work in, thanks to him. So then I got asked to come to the university and develop a cinema department. And that's how I got into that. Well, I had a 9 months contract, and I went out there several times to teach during the summertime at USC. And then they made me an offer when I was the head of the photography and cinema at OSU, and I went out there, and I was head of that department for a year and a half, and then I got a very good offer to come back to Ohio State, and I primarily wanted to get into documentary filmmaking, and they had a big project there, and I made a whole series of films on the way that audiovisual aids were getting into every kind of field. So I made a whole series on across the country on where these innovative projects were, and I got the Eastman Gold Medal for doing that. So and I was making a lot more money at USC. I loved it. I should have stayed out there. I loved it, and went out there to teach again and again. And they asked me to come back, so I was not kicked out. And I often regret not, because in the period of time when I was working out there, I met some of the best people in film. Capper was one who was a lifelong friend of mine. And that department was very good. The competitor was UCLA, of course, and there were others, NYU, but I think Ohio State in its prime was one of the 4 or 5 important schools of the country. And then I got associated with the American Film Institute. I'm still emeritus on that board, and still have good contacts in LA.
Beautiful backyard.
I know. Yeah, this is where we spend a lot of time out here. Well, I guess we can go out this way.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Go ahead. I'm fine.
Well,
I'm your.
Walk up after I go
Okay.
out, so.
Okay.
Big TV there. Great big nice TV there.
Yeah. Well, it's big enough that we can.
Oh, it's great.
It's unbelievable how these cameras adjust to every light and every they automatically white balance as you go along. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's
Well, you just have a dreamy backyard back there.
yeah, beautiful.
It's just beautiful.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we sit out here and
Oh, this is lovely.
in the afternoon we have a glass of wine and trying to keep VJ happy and
Sure.
Oh, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
we got a hummingbird feeder there. We have a lot of hummingbirds.
Very nice.
That's what.